It's strange to me how people on the left really don't realize how radical they've become and how far to the left they've actually moved. And that's why people like Bill Maher, I have a grudging respect for, even though I don't agree with him on pretty much anything, because at least he recognizes what is happening and how damaging it's going to be to the Democrat Party. And what we're seeing today, of course, is him explaining this fact to Patton Oswalt, a big-time leftist, and how he has basically blind spots and bubbles to the actual truth. But before we begin, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe on this video so you can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
Remember when they found the damning video of AOC dancing and drinking with her friends on the roof at college? Or like, and this is a Congress person, and she looks so happy and beautiful and cool, and you're like, oh, they think this is ending her career because they never did this.
Yeah, but
they were never that comfortable to do this.
Yeah, and if she had some deprogramming, she could be such a fantastic candidate.
What do you mean deprogramming?
Well, she just doesn't, she's never going to resonate with people outside of the bubble that she lives in the very, very far left.
Well,
and that, I mean, the New York Times, of all people, the people I've been like squabbling with for the last 7, 8, 10 years, whatever, when I was all about, you know, Democrats have gone too far left, they just put out a huge editorial basically saying exactly what I've been saying.
What, that she's too far left?
Yes, and that the only way the Democrats will ever win again, not that the Republicans are probably going to give it back, is to be more moderate. But we don't have to argue about her. I mean, she has.
If people think she's too far left, then that shows another way this country's broken right now.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily broken in that way, but it just shows how the country is not there. That is not where the country is, and if you don't,
unfortunately, okay. That's the one thing, and I hate to admit this, this country is not as mature as it thinks it is. We elected Obama, and clearly the country freaked out. We're still living in that freak out. We are not as progressed and evolved and intelligent as we think we are because we keep freaking out about this stuff.
Well,
you know?
The left freak out, too. The left freaked out about a lot of bullshit, too.
What did they freak out about?
Gender, race, parenthood, schools, homelessness, crime, the border, education. Like we stopped being a scientific people. Like it's not scientific.
But the left certainly stayed scientific.
No, they didn't.
Why not?
Because they think gender bullshit that they went way too far with. That's not scientific.
But how do I'm not trying to. How do they go too far with like gender stuff?
Every baby is, I don't know, let's not even put it on the birth certificate. That's what they wanted.
Were we teaching that?
Yes, we were.
When were we teaching that?
Teaching it. It was a law here in California. See,
to teach what?
Don't put sex on the birth certificate. We'll see. Now, we've passed that period now.
I'm sorry, I don't remember that. I mean,
I know, because it doesn't get in the blue sky bubble.
Wait a minute, I'm not just on blue sky.
I really think that's a lot of it, is that some of this stuff doesn't get in to everybody's media.
Now, if you're saying the left went too far with gender, maybe that was a function of, okay, these people are scared, they're being targeted, and we're watching them be targeted right now. We're watching transgender people be targeted in a very aggressive way. So
we are? Where?
Oh my God.
Where are they being targeted? I mean, like everybody is being targeted to a degree. I feel like,
but not scapegoated the way the transgender people are.
Scapegoated for what? Who's scapegoating them?
Every shooting is a transgender person.
Not every the ones that are.
But that's how they frame it, though, and that's how they're. You talked about my blue sky bubble, but the Newsmax, Fox bubble that's what's feeding those people. But also, it just feels like. Obviously, you've heard the term extinction burst.
Extinction burst,
where before a thing dies, like let's say the dinosaurs, that's when they become the loudest and the most violent and crazy. And it's like right before the Civil Rights Act passed, that's when the hoses and the dogs and the billy clubs came out, because they knew the change was coming. Just like you said earlier, an audience can be this weird organism that the dominant people can kind of sense, and they guide the thing. when an extinction burst comes, that side, in this case, the old, very, very conservative, very, very kind of anti-gay, anti-woke side,
sure,
knows that its time is becoming limited.
That's
so
true.
they do their biggest, loudest, most violent, thing. And I feel like that's what we're seeing right now.
There is definitely a lot of that, for sure.
Yeah.
There is definitely a lot of, this country is becoming something we don't recognize anymore. And some of that is valid. I mean, what's going on in England right now is a lot of that. I mean, like,
What's going on in England?
Again, not in the bubble.
Okay, well,
doesn't get in the bubble.
Don't wait a minute. Just
It
tell
really
me.
doesn't. It's a big. I don't even want to start with it, but
okay.
It's like just a lot of violence, protests, immigration, cities that Andrew Sullivan, for example, says are places that my grandfather would not even recognize anymore as British. Grooming, the grooming scandal.
No.
See, that's a big story.
This is in the UK.
Yes, that went on from like the 80s to the present, and it wasn't
You're talking about the royal family.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about Pakistani men who were immigrants, who were grooming poor, impoverished white girls mostly in these things, and making them into prostitutes and sex slaves and like really nasty shit that would pass for more normal in a traditional Pakistani society where women are not considered equal citizens. And if you don't understand that, and that gender apartheid is the #1 issue that you woke people should be concerned with but seem not to be, then right away we're not really seeing the world as the same way. And I think I'm seeing it much more clearly.
Yeah, but
gender apartheid should be your #1 issue. If you really care about oppression, like a lot, I'm talking about hundreds of millions of the world's women, and it's mostly because of the tenets of Islam, to be perfectly honest about it. And this is what's going on in England, and this is why England is having a big problem these days, because in the interest of DEI, they are allowing practices that are so illiberal, which is the great irony. This is the least liberal thing you could be, is treating women as a second-class citizen and getting away with shit like this.
Talk about living in a bubble. Can you imagine being that unaware that you don't even know about the biggest political stories from the last election cycle, as Patton Oswalt seems to be? And of course, to prove my point, what does he say about AOC? She's not that far left. She's a radical, progressive socialist. All right. The only reason you wouldn't think she's far left is if you agree with her or you live in some place like Oregon, California, New York, etc. Okay. But that just really exposes Patton Oswalt's line of thinking, because he also says, you know what, America, I hate to say it, but we're just not ready to move forward with the rest of the Western world. We're not progressive enough. And I say, thank goodness for that, because the rest of the Western world is busy unaliving itself at the altar of illegal immigration. Okay. And we'll get more on that in a little bit. But I want to refer back to what Bill Maher says. Hey, the left actually abandoned being scientific, but Patton Oswalt doesn't know what's going on in that regard. So let's just go ahead and refresh his memory. Remember the COVID lockdowns? Remember the mask mandates? Remember the vax mandates? Don't forget about the multiple genders they're trying to push on our society. Don't forget about affirming care for children. Also, don't forget about the puberty blockers for children. Men in women's sports. All of this flies in the face of known science. But Patton Oswalt doesn't want to believe it. He doesn't know that the Democrat Party has actually lost its way and gone very, very far left. To which Bill Maher has to, of course, coin the phrase, the blue sky bubble, right? Are you aware of the laws in California? Because not only, like Bill Maher mentions, are they not putting genders on birth certificates, don't forget that in California, if you don't affirm your child's gender, they can take your child away from you. Not to mention all of the garbage they're putting in the curriculum for elementary school-age children regarding all of this stuff. But somehow Patton Oswalt thinks that we're trying to target transgenders or something like that. And it's like, no, we just don't want underage children to have the rest of their lives ruined medically, physically, mentally by going through with all of this stuff. All right. If you're a consenting adult, go ahead, ruin your life, ruin your physiology, do whatever you want. Just don't get us and the children involved. OK, but of course, we're going to move on to the next topic now, the big one. And this, of course, is the downfall of England. Patton Oswalt is not aware of what's going on over there, the crisis they are facing, okay? Because they do not have a First Amendment. They do not have freedom of speech, right? The police are going out there and arresting people for memes, for goodness sake. And not to mention, you're not allowed to even fly the flag of your nation because somehow that's oppressive to the people who are moving into your country to take it over. And speaking of taking it over, don't forget about the grooming gangs, all right? As Bill Maher concisely points out, right? You have a whole bunch of these Pakistani men coming in and taking advantage of the young girls. And that, of course, is putting it lightly, okay? But this has been going on for decades. And the police actually ignored it because they didn't want to be called racist, okay? So people who are actually committing these horrible acts were being let go or ignored completely. And the people who were actually complaining about it, i.e. the fathers, the brothers, the mothers, the victims themselves, what was happening to them? Oh, they were being arrested. And the simple fact that Patton Oswalt is blissfully unaware of all of this speaks volumes. He is living in a definite bubble. He does not have access to real information in terms of what's happening that's actually important out there in the world. Although I'm willing to wager he knows all about how Orange Man is bad. And all of this just simply goes to show that your politics can be formed by what information you have access to. And places like Bluesky, where all the leftists go to find safe refuge away from actual information, just turn into indoctrination camps. And that's exactly what we're facing. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me. Do you like t-shirts? Of course you do. And now you can support the channel by buying an Angry Teacher t-shirt designed by me, Angry Teacher. So if you like America, if you like freedom, if you like liberty, then go ahead and click the link in the description where all designs, of course, are 100% mother approved. So enjoy yourself and find something you like today.